We are mother-daughter mediums, Kaylie and Carol, and we sit down every couple weeks to have real-life conversations that help you feel more connected to yourself, to your loved ones on the other side, and to spirit. So, let's get started for today. I was thinking about just how over the course of the last few years, for you like 10 plus years, that we have been doing this work, and we've sat with thousands of people and clients and group sessions and events. And I was just wondering, is there anything that you feel like you have learned from sitting with so many people, or anything that you feel like you've noticed people, like humanity, human beings, kind of have in common?
I suppose there's so many things. But what's standing out to me right now is a lot of people they like to be validated that the decision or decisions that they've made were the right ones, or it was okay, or they did the right thing. Like a lot of that. I feel like when like a message comes through validating a certain thing, a certain decision that was made, it's like a weight is off their shoulder.
Yeah, no, I agree. I do feel like a lot of people do come to us, like when they sit down, and they hold like a lot of regrets or blame, or they're wondering a lot of things, like you're right, if they made the right decision, or not even if they made the right decision, but more so they carry the weight of the decision, like whether or not it was the wrong one. I noticed they hold the weight or the blame on themselves with however it turned out.
And I love, because I feel like I've sat in our groups and been able to witness when you give it, when I'm doing it, I'm just channeling and I'm not really fully there. But when I'm able to watch, and I've recently seen you bring something forward, and it was about a decision. I believe it was, well, it doesn't matter what the decision was, but it was something that they had to decide to do. And I just saw, like, literally her change, her energy change, everything change. It was so healing. And I was like, wow. It's almost like she came to that event for that reason. Like now, so it's beautiful to see.
Yeah, and I think too, that's why, like, obviously the evidence that comes through during our sessions, like that's why it's so important, is because when those deep healing messages come through, like it feels that much more connected to the person. I feel like it's easier for them to receive the message and know like that it's the truth, their loved ones. We've had it come through so many times that that your loved one doesn't blame you or isn't upset about decisions that were made. I had it come through the way Spirit worded it earlier in the week with one of my clients, is like, similar, we were just talking about your story. She shared a story online about how your dad said he put his consciousness into the robin and was in this space with you, the backyard, hanging out with you. If you haven't seen that video, she explains it on her social media, and it's a really beautiful story. But Spirit put it to me in this one-on-one session in a similar way, where there was a decision that their loved one was holding on to, and the way Spirit explained it to me was they put their awareness, their consciousness, almost in their loved one's body to understand fully why they made the decision they did. So that's why our loved ones don't ever hold on to any of that, like, blame or regret or anything that we might hold on to in the 3D, because they can see things from so many different perspectives. And when they say that, they really do see it fully from our point of view, which in turn allows them to have this deep sense of like empathy and understanding that we might not even relate to, because they're on the other side. And that's why I feel like, but when people hear that, like wow, they're not upset at me. But I don't know how many times I hear people say, wait, she didn't come in disappointed, or that doesn't sound like my mom. She would have been mad
I
at me for
know.
this.
Mm-hmm.
And things
And
like
that's
that.
why we love sharing the story of how even if you did not have a great relationship with them while they lived here, you can start a new relationship with them now that they've crossed. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's been huge in our sessions and
Mm-hmm.
huge because it happened to me. So I was
Yeah.
able to share that. But also, I was just thinking too, end of life, like, I think this might tie in somehow, but end of life, like sitting with your loved ones. And what I witnessed in my own family and sitting with my loved one is everyone had their way of loving or what they think that person wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And that person was in a space of transition.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew because I was tuning in with spirit during the whole time, and I knew that it was for us just as much as, like, it wasn't so much for the patient, it was for us, it was for what we felt like, almost like their last rites. They would have liked this, so I'm going to do this for them. I want to, and they all thought it was the right thing to do, but it was the right thing to do because it was for us. And anyway, I was so grateful to be able to see that in real time because
when you lost when grandma
my
passed
parents,
away,
yeah,
or?
because maybe I wouldn't have made a certain choice that my sibling was making, or maybe I thought that was a little too much, or who knows.
Yeah.
But I was able to say, no, Carol, that is for them,
Yeah.
and we all have that. And the loved one is feeling the love on all angles. So there is really no wrong thing you can do. And that's what was so beautiful for me to see.
I do think that's so true because, like I was just saying about like the perspectives and how they're able to step in and to understand things. It really is the same way. Like if someone, we all have different love language. We all have different ways we say "I love you." And if your loved one is passing away, and like you just said, you want to do the thing because you think it's for them, but it's usually a thing that helps you feel connected to them. But whether it's one last time of having
Playing
a
their
drink or
favorite
playing
song or a
music, it was a
drink, yeah.
connection that you had to them.
And they're taking it in.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I mean. They're being so loved because they're getting a piece of everyone.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They're feeling it like that.
Yeah.
They're feeling that love the way that you're giving it, for sure. And I feel like, so when we talk about that and like the things that we notice, like people regret, like the things that we hear from people that we have sat down with, a lot of the times it is about that, like the conversations that they wish they had with someone before they passed, or things that they wish they got to do one more time before their loved one passes. And I feel like, do you feel like hearing any of those stories have changed the ways that you live your life and like decisions you make? Because I feel like it's affected mine.
Yes, and even again, I do this for a living, and when my father passed away, so now it's 18, I think he passed away in 2018, so what is that, like 8 years? I was already doing this for a while at the time, several years. So I kind of like went into it with my eyes open. Like I talked to him all the time, where I don't know that I would have if I didn't know some of this. That's why I know he heard me, and he has validated to me over and over, like every day. Like he over validates actually, which is so beautiful. But my time I had with him, like, and it's just so beautiful.
And it probably also helped you like continue to live your life in a certain way with a certain openness, and even like allowing his connection now on the other side to be that much stronger to you, because you were able to let so much go when he was passing or after he passed, or you were able to continue to build that relationship because things change. And like I said, they don't hold on to the things that they would have held on to when they're still here. And that's why, like I was saying, the evidence is so important, because when that message comes through, like your loved one really wants you to know, like they are not mad about this. I especially because like I've had it where people will say my mom or dad or this person was so adamant that this had to happen at the end of their life, or this had to happen at their service, or this had to be this way, this had to go to this person, and it didn't happen, or this happened this way, and I know she's mad at me, or she doesn't want to talk to me, or whatever. But again, like, that's why I feel like we try so hard to teach these things that we've learned in our sessions and with sitting with so many people, because it makes a big difference in our lives. And it does, I feel like, have the opportunity to change the way that you're living your life and the choices that you make, and can strengthen your relationship with your loved ones on the other side, like you did with your father, because of the things that you've learned, like, through all of this. So it is really beautiful. And I think that's why I wanted to talk about this today, to like bring it to the awareness and let you guys know that these aren't things that you have to hold on to. I shared a Instagram video the other day where we were talking about just how much we realize, like, people carry, like, the shit that people carry on a daily basis from regrets or the shoulda, coulda, wouldas in life and with loved ones before they've passed. And I think that's why we do what we do, because the more we share and the more we let people see, no, there, you have opportunities to shift things, to change things. It lets you feel more free, more connected to your loved ones, and just more full of love, for sure.
And I've also, because I was just thinking about this client from a couple of weeks ago who moved into her mother's house when her mother passed, and they had a 4-season room or something, but she ended up getting rid of it. It was old, and her mother loved this room, like, loved it. That's where her mother was all the time. And she felt so bad about taking it down, basically, and they're doing other things with the yard. But her mom came through that she saw the remodeling, and that she was, like, gave her the thumbs up. I forgot how it came through, but she thought that was the one thing her mom was going to be. Like, she felt like her mom, and I'm like, no, it's your home now. Even though that was her home, and that was her space, and that was her hangout, she also has, like, left it for you now to make memories and to, have your own space. So anyways, it was beautiful how her mom came through, because she was really, really nervous about that.
Yeah.
And so that was cool.
And I think that's really what it comes down to, is like, our loved ones want us to continue to make memories. Like, at the end of the day, they want us to continue to live this life. And if there's a perspective that their soul can learn on the other side, to understand us here better, like, to give us that freedom, that okay, that, that thumbs up, that, like, you can do this because I understand why you want it, or what's happening, or what you're envisioning. That's what it's all about. Because, and I always say this, like, the point of all of this at the end of the day is we are the ones that are still here, that still have time, that are still living this life, and they want to help guide us and support us in making the most of this time. So whatever they can come through with, whatever they need to do on the other side to understand something or to see something differently, like, it's so much easier for them, because they want us to live the life that we want, for sure. And so just jumping off of that and, like, going back to that question I kind of asked you earlier about how, if we think sitting with all of these people have changed the way that we, like, live our lives and the decisions we make. I know you talked about, like, how that was able to help you with your dad, grandpa, when he was passing away, and the things that you did differently. But I even feel like now, like, not even related to the loss of a loved one, I feel like sitting with so many people have enforced this, like, lesson in me. We always talk about, like, the present moment and being where your feet are, but I feel like that is such a big thing. And a reason why I think we talk about it so much is because we see it so much in our clients and in our sessions, that people are, like, stuck in the past, or blaming themselves, or the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, or they're worrying about so much, like, everything they're going on, they're not being present. And that's the message that Spirit always gives to them. So I feel like we hear it enough from Spirit that we're like, okay, they really want us to know this.
And life is short. Like, that's the other big one. Like, life is short. So make the time or say what you need to say.
Yeah, I had a client.
I'm good with that one. Say what you need to say. I feel like I always have something else to say.
You definitely do if you have something to say.
But I feel like that's why, because I don't want to. And then sometimes I feel like I need to make up for what I say. So I say it a little different. So regardless, say what you need to say.
No,
sure.
But I had a client. It was a really, really emotional session with her loved ones. She was deep in grief. And I remember thinking at the end, like, I need to go home and like hug every single one of my loved ones.
But you didn't do it. and that's what we had someone pass away close to the family recently.
Yeah.
And Emily turned to me and said, I feel like I should hug my mom. And I was like, you should. But it's like when and we all know you're not a big hugger. So when that starts happening, we know.
No, but
really.
Yeah. And I think too, like, and again, it's not to blame yourself of like, oh, I should have hugged my mom more. I should have done this, because life is still happening. We were sitting down talking about like what we wanted to talk about today. And one of the things that you mentioned was how can we still make the most of this life, or how can we still enjoy this life, or like with everything when life happens. And I think it's in these little moments, like when you come to a realization, like when I had that client and I was like, oh my God, I want to hug my loved ones. Like that's when you act on it. Like that's what I think matters. That's how you start to enjoy life. That's how you start to feel more connected, because obviously none of us can control when life happens and when it takes us off path, or when we're not being present, or when our mind's everywhere and we're focused on getting things done or figuring things out. But there will always be moments, I feel like, where life will slow you down or bring you to the present. And when we can act on it, I heard some spiritual teachers say something like, when you have a burst or moment of like inspiration, you have like 10 seconds to act on it before it's like that initial is gone, that initial feeling is gone, and you can always bring it back and do it, but like that initial feeling. And
you're really good at that.
What? Acting on
it the minute you get it in your head.
Well, you say it because I always get stuck on stuff.
Well, but there are a lot of positives that come from it.
Yeah.
So we'll be talking about the business or something we want to do, and she'll literally have it done like the next work day. And like I told her, I'll find out on social media. And I was like, wow, that happened fast. We literally just talked about it. So yeah, so you took that teaching in close.
But no, it is true, and it is something that I feel like I'm so grateful for with these sessions. But again, like there's a reason why we share everything we share. There's a reason we talk about everything we talk about and the lessons that we share. And it's not just because like we're saying, oh, we think it's important. It's like we have these experiences with loved ones that Spirit's constantly reminding us of these lessons, and we're seeing the importance of these lessons that are like laid out in front of us. That's why I feel like we feel so connected and so strongly about the things that we say and teach within everything.
For sure.
Well, I know we've talked about everything we've learned in all of our sessions and from people. And I feel like, obviously, we're human and there's things we're always still learning. So is there something you want to share, anything that you feel like you're still actively learning? Because I know I can think of a few things for myself that Spirit's constantly reminding me about as well.
Yes, and that's why I love doing what I do, because I feel like I just feel like it helps me so much. Trusting Spirit completely, I guess I could say, where I do in my sessions, I get super nervous. We talk about this all the time. We get sick before every event. Like we're literally shaking the energy off, frantic. What are we doing here? Why are we here?
Why do we
and
do
then
this
we figure it out. And then, as we always say, Spirit has never not showed up and amazes us all the time. And so for in my personal life, I want to have everything figured out. I want to know. I spend hours, countless hours, having every scenario figured out in my head, where Spirit's constantly telling me, just trust, take the next step, and then trust, release it, let it go. And so that it's something that I continue to practice on a daily, literally. And I feel like in some ways, I feel like I've made progress, and then sometimes I feel like I don't, but then I go back to it. So just having the awareness of it right there, so then I just say, stop what I'm doing and say, okay, I trust, and it helps.
I actually just, that message or that like teaching came up in a card reading that I just did for a client where it was all about like a decision or whatever. And she too, I was like, are you a planner? Do you like to see 10 steps ahead? And she's like, oh yeah, definitely. But the message was all about like, sometimes you really just have to take that next step. And that movement of the energy is what lets everything else start to flow.
Open up. Like you couldn't possibly see the future. And it's funny, we're psychics, but that's not how this life is designed.
Yeah.
And especially individually, like if your thing is trust, or you want to have it all figured out, but then you're asking for help and then you're, making yourself sick over it. So trusting and just allowing that next step to happen, and then doors open, and then you make another decision and another decision, but you can't have it all on one decision. Logically it makes sense.
No, for sure. And that's why I feel like, everything is energy. So when you like take that movement from that first step, like that's what allows everything to fall into place. But I feel like people can get so caught up in saying, well, I can't see how this is going to work out for me, so I'm not taking this step. Like that energy of you being stuck, like it is a pause energetically, like nothing is moving. So how would you be able to see how things are going to unfold if nothing's moving, nothing's happening? So things can't fall into place yet. Like sometimes you almost have to.
But at the same time, I think the pause is just as important. Like the pause. So sometimes someone else or people in your life could think like, okay, like this pause was, a very long time now. It's time to take action. But honestly, everything happens, like we talk about all the time, timing. At the right moment, at the right time. So we could judge it or say that, oh, you should have done this before, and it doesn't matter. It's perfect in what you ultimately decide to do, because you're the one that's moving. So
for sure. I feel like something I'm still currently learning, which you talk about this a lot, I feel like is me trying to release control, which I guess too is another form of like trust, because like
I have one for you. No, can we do that?
What?
Blame. Remember, I was just joking, but when we got in here, you were blaming me for things. Mom, why did you do that? I was like, you did that last week. You did that. But you're in a space of like, okay, I want to get it done. And
see, but and you're so funny, because we were sitting down with that conversation. You were like, it's okay, Kaylie, I'll be your mirror, or whatever you said. But I do place a lot of blame on myself for things that aren't necessarily my fault. So I'll look into that. But no, I was going to say, I guess as being evidential mediums and like our emphasis on evidence, that is a big thing that we're constantly surrounded by, is trusting spirit. Is like, because we're like, no, we need the proof. But spirit gives it to us, and that's what builds the trust. But I can see why that's our lesson, is trust, because me wanting to control things or see 10 steps ahead or have everything figured out, not necessarily in terms of like making a decision and moving forward, but just like feeling maybe emotionally, energetically safe, like within my nervous system, like if I know what's going on, if I not necessarily maybe have control, but like I understand everything, then I feel better, instead of trusting like the things that I don't understand right now, or the things that are like whatever it is from spirit, like just stepping into trusting them, surrendering to them. Just the serenity prayer, do you know it? It came in, I don't even fully know it, but it came in I think 2 or 3 times this week for clients of mine. But I was just going to say that for me, and you always told me my whole life, when you give a reading, you get a reading. But I feel like I really need to do, what is it? It's like surrendering to what you can't
control. The things I can't control, the wisdom to know the difference, or something.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
That's what I feel like I need to step into with spirit. Like, for sure. That's something that I always go back to. And like you said, and with life, like, there are times where I do a great job of it.
Yeah.
And then there's times where I'm like, no, I can't deal with this right now. I need to have this control or whatever.
I was going to say, because you were talking about like the evidence and how, that's a big part of our readings and everything. And I know this happened with you too before. I mean, it happened to us a few times, but it just recently happened to me where I do like the little bit I can control, and which is nothing, but the little bit of patterns I see happening is they give evidence out the gate, like, this, but recently they didn't, and it's like personality, and it was just like they just wanted to talk about the person, and I'm like, I'll do it, but I had to do it. So what I was going to say is, in that moment, even with spirit, I have to trust, and it is hard because I do feel like I've grown with not needing the evidence like I did in my first years. Like that was different. I was proving to myself. Yeah. Now I have that huge level of trust that they've proved it to me time and time again, where now I could come from a different place, but the evidence is still part of our thing. There, yeah. So, so doing that the other night, giving that reading, I saw the way it unfolded, and I was like, okay, thank you. Like, but it was just way different. And I'm like, oh, and I remember one of my first teachers saying, the one thing, when you get used to a pattern or used to something, and I don't want to claim that as my truth, but when you get used to a certain way, spirit will change it up. Yeah. And
I said this the other day to you when we were talking on the phone, that I was mad at spirit, the universe, our loved ones, because I was like, no, because whatever I said, like, they can't always be right. Like, everything that they try to teach us, they can't always be right. It's annoying. And then you said something like, well, I'd rather it be that way than them being wrong, or us being wrong, or whatever. But it is, it's funny, and it's true. And I think we'll definitely continue to share all of these lessons that we notice. Because at the end of the day, like I said earlier, this life is about us. It's about me. It's about you. It's about, the people listening and whatever.
And we're learning and growing and sharing what we're able to learn and grow with, and that's what's so beautiful about everyone in the world. Like, they all come with this new set of eyes, new set of beliefs and experiences, and we're all here to kind of share with each other. So it's fun. Most of the time.